Good morning, Flosstube, and welcome back to my channel. This is Jan Hicks of Jan Hicks Creates. It is Monday, April 30th, and you know what that means, don't you? It means it is Misty Purcell's birthday, so happy birthday, Misty. I hope you have a day filled with all of the things you love and lots of crafty goodness. It's certainly a gorgeous sunny day here in Maryland. I hope it's a gorgeous sunny day for you too up in central Pennsylvania. Now, I think you guys were all thinking I was going to say tomorrow is when Stitch Mania starts. We'll get to that. That is very heavily on my mind as well, but I wanted to make sure and wish Misty happy birthday. So let's see, what else is on my notes? Thank you for coming back if you are returning to my channel. Thank you for visiting me if this is your first time. I hope you enjoy what you see. I have a lot of stuff to talk about. Some finishes, lots of whips, little bit of haul, and then, like I said, more Mania Plans. I already talked about some Mania Plans in my last video, but several of us, I'm not alone in this, I know, because several other people have mentioned this. Primitive Stitcher, Suzette, mentioned in her last video when she was talking about her Mania Plans that, you know, you have all these things sitting in bins, just waiting for you to get to them. If you can, why not kit them up and put a few stitches in them? And that really touched a spark in me. I do have tons of things sitting here and that have been sitting here for years. Now, I didn't necessarily want to go out and buy a whole lot of things for a bunch of other kits. I basically decided that only if I had fabric that would work would I start it. There are a few that I have to get. I had to get floss. Luckily, Joann's had their sale, so I picked up the floss I needed for some of them. There's still some that I need some over-dyed flosses for, so I will go to my LNS this Friday and pick those up. But for the most part, I had what I needed, so I don't feel bad about kitting these up. I have 14 additional ones to add to what I showed you in the last video I did. So I will show you those later in the video. I did a little slideshow at the beginning of this of one of our trips. Back in 2013, we did a 10-week trip through New England. I've loved all the trips we did. So it's hard for me to say that the trip through New England is my favorite, because really I've loved them all. But I loved everything about New England. Throughout New England, I kept saying I could live here in the summer, because one of the things that really struck us is the huge wood piles that people keep. That was a real indication of what winters are like. So yeah, I could totally live anywhere in New England in the summer. So anyways, the pictures I've shown are, we did, you know, we were out in our RV and stayed at a variety of campgrounds, and we spent about a week on Mount Desert Island up in Maine, and took a day and just made a circuit around the outside of the island, stopping at different places. So I kind of compiled I compiled my favorite ones and put them in a little slideshow. Somebody had mentioned that I should really do some kind of slideshows or videos for YouTube of my photos, because when we're out on trips, I take hundreds, and my goal is to get them all into photo books, and I have not done that yet, but I would like to do something with them, and so this is kind of an easier way to get them out there, so they're not just sitting on my hard drive. I hope you enjoy it. If not, just skip past it. But I'm probably going to do that on the beginning of all of my videos, is just a little slideshow of a certain section of all of the trips. So you'll get to see different parts of the country each time. Okay. Again, I appreciate all of you coming back. I appreciate all of your comments. I have so much fun reading through them and commenting back, and we get a little dialogue going sometimes. I think that's so fun. You ever have any questions for me, feel free to ask. I appreciate all of your likes, and I'm always wondering about the thumbs down. If there's something you don't like, let me know that as well. I'm open to suggestions for anything about my videos. So more you'd like to see more of, something you wouldn't like to see as much of, whatever. I'm here for you. Okay, so let's get into the stitchy stuff today. So I do have an FFO, and this has really been all over Facebook and Instagram, so maybe there's 2 of you out there that haven't seen this yet. So for you 2, here is my Wish Upon a Star finished object. And as I've said, I love it. I could not be happier with the color changes I did. There was quite a bit of times where I ripped out what I had chosen and chose something different, but I just think it turned out exactly as I had hoped. I had mentioned in my last video that I was going to try and do a beaded border around it, and I tried, and it just didn't look right. Yeah, wasn't happening. So I found this cording with my husband's help, and I think it's perfect. So in honor of my finished Wish Upon a Star, and in honor of Susie Reno, who is creating the new, what's the word I'm looking for? The new habit, the new thing of dabbing whenever we have a FFO that we totally, totally love, I give you this. Okay, so that was my younger son dabbing for me. When he sent me that video, he said, "What did you need me to do that for?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to include it in a video I put up on YouTube." And he said, "Oh, I'm going to be on YouTube?" He said, "I would have cleaned up more." And I said, "You're cute no matter what." So I hope you agree. He's my dabber. Let's see. So that's my FFO. I don't have any other finishes. Unless you consider my thread storage system a finish. I kind of have it all put together. I mentioned it and showed a little bit of in an earlier video. I think I'm going to actually show that more. I'm going to do a separate video and kind of show you how I use it, show you how I have the thread set up in it, and also tie that into how I use the app Hicks Stitch to manage my projects, to manage my inventory. So because, I mean, when you do have all this going on, excuse me, when you do have all this going on, you need some way to know where, especially threads. Oh, goodness gracious. You need a way to know where everything is. At least I do. Because I don't get like duplicate skeins of DMC for all the different projects a color might be called for. I'm not going to do that. So I need to have a way of knowing where everything is, and so I'm using the Hicks Stitch app to do that, and I will do a separate video because I think that's going to be too long to include in here. This will probably be long enough. So there's that. All right, whips. So I have been working more on my Sing a Song series sampler by Silvercreek Samplers. Did you get all that? I love that one. This was one of my birthday starts, and I had said that I was going to really dedicate time to this, and then Wish Upon a Star started too, and I fell in love with that. So I finished that. This is actually going fairly quickly when I do have a chance to stitch on it. And I do love it. It's such a pretty little piece, an easy little stitch. Just makes me very happy. So there is that. I don't know whether you, I guess I'll show you excuse the crinkling. So that is the first set of patterns from Silvercreek Samplers, the doe and the ray. So I am also working on, of course, my Harbor Haven series stitch along. I have started part 5, so that's what we have here. It's kind of hard to see. There. So this part has a lighthouse. Let me see if I can easily find the picture. Come on, silly phone. No glasses. Always makes for fun looking things up. All right, so this is what this piece, shoot, wasn't blowing it out before. This is what this piece is going to look like with the lighthouse up on the hill. So I have all the greenery here done, the green hill, and I'm starting this kind of coastal sandy area here. So that's what you're seeing here. This retaining wall will continue, this green will continue, and then we'll have water down here and some more land here and another tree. And then that's the total piece so far. Again, I'm loving this. I can't say enough good things about this. So there is Harbor Haven. And I am wearing a microphone for this one, so this is going to be interesting to see how this, the audio on this comes out. I haven't tested it at all, so I don't know. The other one I started is Pretty Little India. This was actually my my high tea noon start, Friday off the grid, you know what Carolyn does on the last Sunday of every month. I hadn't done a high tea start prior to this, so this was my first one. This is upside down. This is Pretty Little India from Satsuma Street. Had this pattern for a while. You can see my blinds there. That might be better. So what you're seeing on my fabric is just the little reflecting pool in front of the Taj, and then the Baha'i, the start of the Baha'i temple there in the front. So this was going to be a Mania start, and I decided to make it a high noon. Why high tea? Why am I having such a hard time with that? Anyways, it was a little bit of a start yesterday. And boy, what happy colors in this. I'm going to enjoy every stitch of this one too, I can tell. So just a little bit of a start there on Pretty Little India from Satsuma Street. Okay, so that is all. Oh, knitting whip. All right, so I had mentioned, I'd showed you some swatches last week of this sweater I'm going to start. Let me find the picture of that to remind you. This is one that my friend at the Sarasota store designed that I'm test knitting. This is her wearing it. Her name's Kat, and she is stunning, and of course it looks stunning on her. So she did hers all in one color, and then the collar and the sleeves, you're holding that color together with a silk and mohair lace weight to give it more of a fuzzy haloed look. So I have the yoke done. I finished, the other day I finished the raglan shaping for the sleeves. So that's what you're seeing here. And I just started, I'm using, I don't have enough of any one color, so I'm using a second color for the body. And the idea was then that I'd go back and do the cuffs and the collar with this color, and I have the matching mohair to go with it. Now, I finished the raglan shaping the other day, or the other evening, and started on the dark, started knitting the body with the dark. And when I went to bed that night, I have 38 grams left of this. When I went to bed that night, as I was falling asleep, it struck me that I probably am not going to have enough of this left to do both the cuffs and the collar at the end. So, as much as it pains me, because these are long rows, I'm up to 382 stitches on this now. As much as it pains me, I am going to need to rip out some of this and save it for the collar and the cuffs so I have enough. What I'm going to do is rip out a row, wind it back onto my ball here, and weigh it and see how much each row weighs. I want to get back up to about 50 grams of this. I have 38 here. So that will tell me, if I weigh a row, it will tell me how many rows I have to rip out in order to get this back up to 50 grams, because Kat said I probably need about half a skein to do the collar and the cuffs. So that will be something I'm probably going to work on today. I hate ripping. It's part of it. I hate ripping. But such is the life of a knitter. Okay, so those are all my whips. Let's see what's next. Haul. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot of haul. I had told you that time to stop buying so much. I went crazy in March, and that was cool. Got to rein it in. My husband set up a budget for me, which is awesome, because the budget he set for me was way more, a monthly budget was way more than the number I had in my head. I didn't tell him the number I had in my head, so don't watch this, honey. we'll just, yeah, maybe I should edit that out. I don't think he watches. So anyways, but I'd blown that number already, especially after the trip to the attic in April. So for basically the past 2 weeks of April, I couldn't spend any more money, which is fine. I have enough. So I don't have that much haul, but what I do have, since I showed you, the last thing was actually stuff I ordered before he totaled it up and saw that, you know, I had quite a bit already for April. So having said that, I only have a couple things, and these are all ordered earlier in the month. So this one I found on Etsy, just going through. There's a couple stores. They aren't really cross-stitch stores. They're more like, I guess, second-hand stores, you'd call them, thrift stores, although this wasn't priced as a thrift item. But I have a feeling they probably go to flea markets and Goodwills and thrift stores and other things and just gather stuff up. They're kind of like an eBay store, basically, on Etsy. So I found this. Green on Green. It is not an out-of-print chart, but it is signed by Karen Kluba. So it was a little more than the retail price, but I just think it's gorgeous. I love Rosewood Manor anyway. I mean, look at that motif. Isn't that gorgeous? I love pretty much everything about it. Little birds, little butterflies. I just think this is gorgeous. It says green on green. I may or may not do it green on green. I don't know yet. But yes, I couldn't pass that up. So the other one that I had a true confessions time here. I had actually downloaded this chart off the internet before I realized that it was a pirated chart, and that is this. So once I realized that, I bought it from Soda Stitch from Korea, and so that came, and I was actually going to stitch it on the other half of, here I am getting all up close and personal with you again. Hello. I was going to stitch it on the other half of the fabric that I'm using for Harbor Haven. I still have this gorgeous piece to do something with. It is a little bit skinny. You know, it's not as wide as it needs to be for the stitch count in order to have like 3 inches around. I think I only have like 2 inches. And I was okay with that. I figured I could make that work. However, comma, semicolon, exclamation point. When I pulled this out and showed it to Mike, he looked at it and just was wowed, of course, who wouldn't be, and said, you know, that would be really cool as a really big piece. I said, honey, it's already going to be a really big piece. So we did the measurements, and we did the measurements at the count that it states on the pattern is a 14 count. So we did the measurements for that, and I don't remember off the top of my head what they are. And I was like, you know, that's I don't like stitching that big anyways, and I don't want it to be that big. So we compromised, I was going to do this. This would have been the same as the Harbor Haven piece where I would have done 1/1 on the 36 count. We compromised, and I'm going to still get a 36 count of fabric and do 1/2. I forget again what the finished dimensions for the actual piece will be. The size fabric I need is 40 by 18. So I sent a message. I looked at the XG Designs website at her Etsy store, and she has this really pretty, I think she calls it old blue fabric. So I messaged her to see if she could custom dye a size, that on a 36 count in the size I need. I'm still waiting to hear back from her on that. This was going to be a Mania start. If I happen to hear from her and she's able to get it to me by the end of May, maybe it still will be. Even if it isn't, I'll be starting it as soon as I get the fabric. The floss, I went ahead and got the floss from Joann's whenever we were there. So there is that beautiful piece. And then the other thing isn't really haul. It is a stash forwarding from Leslie Hurley. She had shown this piece, and oh no, it's not a stash passing. I won the giveaway. So she had done this piece and showed it, and I just love this. It's so happy, hence the name Happy Life. So I won that giveaway, so I think that's really cool. Again, I was going to try and make this a Mania start, but I don't have a fabric that would work with that, so that's going to have to wait. So there is haul. See, not very much. Oh, I did want to tell you, I got a punch needle book. I always buy Kindle books, just like I prefer PDF patterns to have as little paper in my life as possible. I prefer ebooks as well. Let me see if I can get this to come up easily. So I bought a punch needle book from Amazon called Punch Needle: The Complete Guide. Oh, come on. I was looking at it. I want to take it back to the beginning. So there it is there. I decided this is a very comprehensive guide. It has the history, it has some patterns. It talks about the types of fabric you can use and the types of punch. One of the big questions I've had about punch needle, and a lot of this I think is just going to be experimenting, but which size needles take which size fibers? I have a lot of yarn. Which of those yarns can I use in punch needle? That's basically what I want to know, and what needle goes with them. So I think this book will answer that question. I haven't really had a chance to look at it in any depth yet, but that's the main reason I got that, just to fill in the gaps of my knowledge on punch needle, of which there are a lot of gaps since I just started. I actually haven't touched my punch needle piece at all this week because I've been preparing for Mania. There's a very good chance I won't touch it at all in May because of Mania, but that's okay. It will be sitting waiting for me, probably with a few cat hairs on it by the time I pick it up again, because that's my life. Okay, before I get into the Mania, I'd like to call out a couple of Flosstubers that I've watched. I always try and find some new ones. It's not like I don't watch plenty. I just when I think I get caught up, I go to sleep, and the next morning it's like 15 of you have done videos the day before. It's just insane. I'm not complaining. I love watching all of you, but catching up is not a thing on Flosstube. But I found some new ones that I really like to add to that list. So let's start with Adelaide Cottage. I actually came across her because of her knitting podcast in her knitting world. And so it was kind of fun to see her cross over into the cross stitch world too, and start posting Flosstube videos. So she does. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. She does actually a lot of different crafts, but her cross stitch projects were right in line with all the rest of us, the kind of things we're doing, really pretty things. She's a very sweet spirit. She's had some health issues, so I think all the crafting has helped be therapy for that. So it was nice to meet Adelaide Cottage, and I didn't write down her real name, and I'm sorry for that. I will have to go look that up. Express Life Tiffany. There's a lot of us that have connected with her, and who doesn't love her? Gosh, she's so darn cute. I mean, really, she's just cute and happy, and she makes me smile every time I watch her. She has an amazing talent. She has an amazingly generous spirit. She is the one that stitched the chicken sampler for Chelsea for the baby's room. She also stitched a little sunflower ornament for Cindy. And I mean, it's just, again, the generosity here is just amazing. So definitely check out Tiffany, Express Life Tifa. And I will have all of these linked down below, along with Misty, because it's her birthday and we need to tell her happy birthday. Snug Harbor Crafts, again, several of you have mentioned them before. They're another mother-daughter team. Oh shoot, I wrote down the daughter's name and not the mother's. The daughter is Kef, the mother is a librarian. Oh my God, these people are so full of energy. Now the mother's a librarian for an elementary school, and it comes through totally. So yeah, she'd better have high energy, right? And I have to say, just her, I don't know, her mannerisms, her way of delivery, I volunteered in my kids' elementary school the entire time they were there, and I volunteered in the computer lab, helping the teachers out there, and I just had a really great time getting to know the teachers and the students that my kids went to school with, and through them the parents, and it was just a really great time in my life. And so her I don't know, something about her mannerisms, it just took me back to elementary school with my boys, and I just really like that. Let's see, Kef has just started stitching, so it's going to be fun to see her progress. She finished her first project, I believe, in their most recent video. Her mother has been stitching for years and years and years and does all kinds of beautiful work. She also does some really, really amazing paper crafting things, so that's really cool to see, and she does show that on her Flosstube videos, so that was fun. Let's see, Stitcherella. Stitcherella is somebody who I think has commented on my videos. We've hooked up on Instagram, so I wanted to find her and watch her. I've only watched one. She's been back and forth, I think, finding time to do Flosstube videos, but again, great energy, great projects, showing the different club flosses and that kind of thing. So it was neat to meet her. Mrs. Vencel, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Her first name is Rachel. She is the one that is also a counselor. She is also has a very sweet personality, gorgeous projects, of course. You can tell she's a very thoughtful person, and she's the one that at the end of her videos kind of has a counseling corner. And so I think that's a great addition to our community. I think she has a lot to offer in very many different levels, so I'm very interested in learning more about her. Let's see, other Flosstube news. I hope you don't mind me reading my notes. Okay, Jessie Marie does stuff. She has compiled a playlist for Stitch Mania. So if you haven't seen that, if you want to get a better idea of what other people are doing and kind of have a feeling of who to watch through Stitch Mania, she's compiled this playlist. I will link it below. Let's see. If you don't watch Amy Loves Toads, I recommend you go check out her last video. She showed her finished Air Force piece. Her son is in the ROTC for the Air Force, and she did this, it's a really striking Air Force themed cross stitch piece for him. And then for the frame, her husband's a machinist, and he cut out with metal different shaped planes that she adorned the frame with. It's a really striking piece, so I recommend you check that out. let's see, Minty Stitcher, Mindy, I just watched her most recent video yesterday, and she told us that her boyfriend is going to be deployed for 9 months. And boy, I really feel for her. My husband and I were separated for 6 months when he came up here to start his job, and I stayed in Sarasota to get Ben, that kid that you saw dabbing earlier, to get him through high school and started in his college up in Orlando. You know, I came up here, or Mike came down to see me every month, and of course we FaceTimed every day. So it wasn't quite as bad as having a partner deployed. It really gave me just a little glimpse and an appreciation for what military spouses go through. I couldn't do it. I was miserable those 6 months. I couldn't do it, so I appreciate what military spouses do, and Mindy, you will be in my thoughts during those 9 months, because I know how hard it is. Kathy Haberman put out a video just a day or two ago, maybe, yeah, a day or two ago, showing her laundry room, which is really cool, but also showing her latest release for her laundry series, as well as the latest release of the White Christmas ornament series, and those are all just gorgeous, and I will be jumping on those as soon as I can. And then the last thing, Christine from Stitch All the Things does indeed have 50 full charts, fully kitted and ready to go, and she showed them all to us on maybe her last video, her last Flosstube video. She's doing the quilting thing now too, which is cool. So there you go. That was fun. Go watch that. Sorry, a little notification came on. I had to read it. Okay, I think that is all except for Mania. Well, I do have something else after, but let's talk about Mania Plans. Okay, so I had told you before that my Mania was going to consist of a mixture of new starts and whips, that I was going to work 2 days on whips, and then every third day would be a new start. So I had 6 new starts and 12 whips, I think, to equal 18. Excuse me. And then Suzette came on the scene and said, why not? They're just sitting in bins anyways. What does it matter if they're sitting in bins unstarted or if they're sitting in bins with a few stitches in them? At least you can get a feel for it. And like I said, that resonated. So I immediately went to my stash and started going through things. So I'm going to show you my additional 14. We're going to start with Lizzie Kate. Lizzie Kate Little. I already showed you the Satsuma Street, the Pretty Little India. So actually, I guess that's 15. But that's now a whip, so I don't know. Whatever. Okay. Lizzie Kate, Snowman 10. And I just have a little piece of 32 count, some kind of linen, probably a witch out linen, that I'm going to do that on. So that will be a sweet little, I may try and finish that as some kind of pillow. That'll be my, I haven't done a pillow yet. I've watched one of Vanna's pillow tutorials. I'm determined to get through all of them, so I have a clue. Okay. Blessed Be, Brenda Gervais. And I know I am not alone in starting this. A lot of my linens, unfortunately, don't have any labels on them, but this is the linen I'm doing it on. I believe it's a 36 count. Oh, what it says up there, 30 count. Really? That's a 30 count? I've tried to count all my linens and label them, what they are. All right, it says 30. I count and count twice, so I'm sure it says 30. Now, I will tell you, I have not put any flosses in my bags, and I got a bunch of these bags from Amazon to put them all in. Oh, something else. So I'm not going to kit them up with flosses. I am going to do, starting tomorrow, a Stitch With Me video every day. Just a short one, 15 or 20 minutes. Once I get into it, I'll show you my progress from the previous day's project, and then I will start stitching on my project for that day. So that will be every day. I am going to try and do it every day for everything that I have, whether it's a whip or a new start. I am going up to Lancaster Mother's Day weekend. just for a little getaway. I am going to try and pre-record the projects for those days and have them scheduled to upload. So I hope that's something you'll enjoy. Like I said, just short. I'm not going to spend a half hour every day doing it. Maybe if I'm enjoying stitching, maybe I'll just do one. I don't know. However, I don't know if I have enough to talk about every day for however many days. I may go through a lot of the tags. We shall see. But anyways, that's my plan. So I hope that's something you'll enjoy. But I started to say I haven't put the floss into all of these because there's just so much. And like I said, I do not double purchase whenever I need the same color in multiple projects. Excuse me. I don't know where that's coming from. So what I plan on doing is just seeing whatever I need for that day's start. And I'm just going to have my bin with my flosses sitting here next to me and pull what I need for that day. And that's kind of where the whole video that I'm going to do showing how I store and how I inventory is going to play into all this as well. Hopefully that will work fairly smoothly. I'll be starting here, and then I'll probably just pull out, you know, whatever other ones I think I'm going to get to that day and work with those that day, and then put them back in the box so that I don't have too much floss spread across too many projects and just kind of crazy. All right, so let's continue on. The next one I'm going to do, oh shoot, I didn't pull the picture of this one, which I meant to do, but it is on Dropbox. Again, PDF. Yeah, that's probably the easiest place to find it. This is one of Kaniki's Whims and Prims called Winter Wonderland. And I am going to be doing it on one of her... Oh, shoot. It's not going to show me the picture on... Grr. All right, I'm not going to take too much time. I will find a picture and insert it in here when I'm editing the video. But so it's called Winter Wonderland. It's one of the Belsnickel. I don't even know what that is really. It's a Santa with some deer. So this is one of her pre-printed fabrics. And so the cross stitch is actually like Santa and a deer, and I think some other trees as well, and red birds, and I mean it's just really pretty, but it's interspersed on this printed fabric. So I think it's going to look really cool. I'm really excited to start that one. And again, that's Kaniki's Prims, and I'll put a link down below for that as well. But that bag only has the fabric in it, because we don't even have the and I won't print out the pattern. I use that on my iPad. And that's another thing I'll probably do a video of sometime. Do you like how I'm doing all these segues? Sorry, bunny trails. I use Knit Companion. I use it heavily for my knitting, of course. Again, I never use printed patterns for knitting, ever. Even if I have a printed pattern, I'll take a picture of it and put it in, and convert it to a PDF and put it into Knit Companion, because I just can't stand using paper if I don't have to. And so I have found that that works really well for cross stitch patterns as well. So what I'm thinking I might do, because I don't want to of course show a cross stitch pattern, but I need to show a pattern so that you can see it, is I might try and create a pattern with one of these online creators that I can manipulate and show you how to use it. But anyways, that will be another video sometime down the road. I'll probably do one on knitting. I used to teach Knit Companion classes at the store. They've upgraded. They've totally revamped the app, but it's basically the same. So I'll do one on knitting and one on how to use it for cross stitch sometime in the future. Back to Mania. Indigo Lane. Somebody finished this recently, saw it on Instagram, was like, oh my God, why have I not started that yet? I love that. So I have this blue even weave. It's a very pale blue. Let me see if I can find the tag for this. This is from a store called Creefles that used to be here in Maryland and northern Baltimore. This is a 30 count Shannon Bluebell. Very pale blue. So, Indigo Lane. So pretty. Totally my colors. Heartstring Samplery, Philip Foster Farm, 1847. So this is, Beth Twist had mentioned in one of her most recent videos, the girls club that the store Country Sampler in Wisconsin was starting. This is the first kit from that. I'm not going to be able to remember everybody. Beth Twist, Tanya Brockmeyer from Scarlet House. Those are the only two I can remember. There's two other ones. And it's the theme is farmhouses. So this is the first of those. Somebody else just joined it when I posted this the other day. As of that point, they still had openings. So the store is Country Sampler. I will link that below as well if you're interested in that. So that comes with the fabric and the overdyed flosses as well. So that immediately went into my Mania pile because it's all kitted. This is an old one. Glory Be, Happily Ever After, 2002. Been sitting in my stash forever. I am doing it on this pretty piece of sea foam that I got from somewhere. I don't know the count, I don't know. But look how pretty that is. You gotta love it, it matches my hair. We'll talk more about that later too. This is gonna be a long one. I'm already at 41 minutes. But that's okay because it's Mania, right? We love Mania. Okay, Heartstring Samplery's Hibernation Day. This one is because of Lisa Smith, Kindred Stitcher. Saw her stitching this and had to have it because I totally believe in, I'm not going to be able to read it without my glasses, curled up with your pajamas all day long. Let's have a hibernation day. Because pajamas all day long, right? So there's that. I am actually using a gray fabric for that. This is, I think this is a 36 count. Again, probably a witch elt. It's a little bit of a stiffer, more see-through linen. I think that's a characteristic of theirs. I believe I got this to do Earth Angel many moons ago, and it's just been sitting here. So I will probably need to change up some of the colors to make it look better with the gray. I don't know. We'll see when I start it what happens, because I am flexible like that. Next on the docket, Blackberry House by Plum Street Sampler. Leslie Hurley has pulled this back out. Just love this piece. Love it, love it, love it. I am using the, this is the vintage pecan butter I got at the attic when I was out there. So I am going to use that pretty piece. This is a 40 count because I love me some small counts. That's what I do. A lot of these are market things, market pieces that I fell in love with, and I'm so excited to start them. Brickhouse Sampler by Brenda Gervais. This is the one that she used the same colors as her ABCDarian schoolhouse lessons that she did over the summer. That is one of my whips that you'll be seeing as we progress through this. So I am actually using, I think this is the same fabric, lamb's wool 28 count Lagana, and of course it'll be 1/1, which is what she calls for. Or maybe it's a 25 count, I don't remember. Prairie Schooler, June. This is the fabric that came, if you remember a few videos back, I got that Sajou kit from the yarn store down in Sarasota. I decided that that kit, the chart it's called Tinctoria Plants, so it's plants that you can dye with. That sounded funny, plants that you can dye with. You know what I mean, right? You can dye fabric and yarn with them, right? Okay, so I decided that I thought that kind of design would look better on a more natural fabric than this pretty lavender, pinkish lavender that was called for. I think June will look gorgeous on this pretty pinky lavender. Again, I'm probably going to change some of the colors. I don't like this gold house. I'm definitely changing the gold, so that means probably the boots will change and whatever little gold touches are also in here. I may change his coat, hers, I don't know. The little person's coat, I'm going to have to see when I pull the colors what they look like on this. I also love these little pieces too. There's a very good chance I may do these all separate as pillows, because wouldn't that be pretty in my little shelf to do smalls in that I haven't done anything with yet. Yeah. Oh God, so much. Bent Creek, Summer Row. See, I do have some smaller ones in here, so some of these will get done. I've had these rows, let's see, how old are these? 2002, I have summer, spring, autumn, and winter. I've had them probably since 2002. So I'm finally going to get summer done. I am doing it on, this is a very flimsy Zweigart. Very soft. What am I using the rest of this for? I don't remember. It's in a whip. We'll see it at some point. So this is a long, skinny piece. So this should fit fine for that. This is probably a 36 or 40 count. So, Bent Creek, Summer Row. Colonial Charm Sampler, the Heart's Content. So the Heart's Content is the same company, Maureen Appleton, of the silk gauze piece that I showed you. And actually, I don't have that currently listed as one of my whips, but I should, right? Include that in Mania. Whoops, sorry about that. Got to scoot back on the chair. I should include that in Mania. So, Maureen Appleton's Colonial Charm Sampler. She has a lot that are kind of Williamsburg oriented, and I love Williamsburg. I love Williamsburg. I could go there any time of year and just wander around to my heart's content. Whether we do any of the tours or not, I don't care. I love Williamsburg. So, and it has a cat on it. So, this, and again, I've probably had this in my stash. When did this come out? Lord only knows. 1986. I probably got it not long after that. It comes with the threads and the fabric. So again, definitely need to get working on that. And that won't take long. All those words, that's not going to take long. A couple other smalls. Little House Needleworks, Louise and Henry. Mr. Sheep, What's Not to Love? Just some kind of little piece of something. A little something something that I'm going to use to make that fine sheep. And then last but not least, as so many of us are doing, Woolamina. Because again, I have it, why not do it? Using a offshoot leftover piece of some gray linen. This I think is what I'm doing. Is it? I did something on this and this is the leftovers. God almighty. I hope you don't expect me to know everything. Anyways, Woolamina will be another fun little start. Okay, so that is all of my plans for Stitch Mania. Right? That's probably enough. Okay, so that's all the stitchy stuff. If you are tired of all this, we are at 48 minutes. Feel free to leave. But now I'm going to talk to you about what I'm all into. And it's not just dark chocolate, although I am certainly still into dark chocolate. But I'm going to talk to you about the elephant in the room. You've all seen it on Instagram. My hair. Now it is very much faded in this light. Not it hasn't faded yet. It's only been, what, 4 days? But it's not showing as vibrant in this light. as it really is. Love it. Love, love, love it. Love the cut. Love the color. Okay, so what happened here? What happened was the lady that did my bags that I'm going to be giving away in my 1,000 subscriber giveaway, and that will probably be coming up here. Well, I was hoping by the end of the month. Obviously, I didn't make it. I think I'm at like 960 subscribers, something like that. It'll happen when it happens. Anyways, Vicky, that clever Clementine, posted a picture on Instagram. She has gray curly hair, and she had like royal blue streaks put through it. It looked really cute, like her curls all blue. They looked really cute. And I posted on her Instagram, I could do that. And she sent me some pictures. There is a technique out there called shadow rooting. And this is one of them. And that's another. And I tell you what, I saw this one, turquoise, right? And just died. Turquoise on silver. And I was like, I need that. I need that in my life. And I showed my husband and he was like, oh yeah. So I just happened to have an appointment the next day. And so I called and talked to the receptionist and told her what I wanted, and they really hadn't heard of shadow rooting. I go to an Aveda salon. I think they probably knew what it was. I just hadn't heard the term or whatever. And so I had to get my appointment changed because it would take longer than a normal haircut, right? So when I went in that afternoon to see my stylist, she was very discouraging. She could not understand why I would want to do anything with my hair. Your hair color is beautiful. Why would you want to do that? That is so stark. You're not going to like it. I mean, she was really discouraging. It became clear, why do you want to do this? I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired of this place. I need a change. I need something bright and fun because out there is just gray and awful. I need something. So it became obvious that I needed something, and I wasn't going to take no for an answer, basically. So she recommended that we start a little bit less, a little bit more subtle. She called this a face framing. So basically it's not really underneath at all. My old color is still underneath. So she recommended we start more gentle. And so we did. And it was so funny. As she started, as I sat and had it sit for however long, we went to the sink and she started washing my hair, and she started saying, oh, this is really pretty. She said, this took really well. There's some really nice dimension in here. And then we go back to the chair and she starts cutting it, and she exclaimed the entire time she was cutting and styling and messing and oohing and awing the entire time of how pretty it was. By the time we were done, she was talking to the other stylist about other clients who might like this. She took before pictures, she took after pictures. We are now talking about what we're going to do the next time I go in. So the next time I go in, I do hope to do more of that picture I showed you where it's darker at the roots. She said she could put it on darker and then comb it down so it's more of an ombre look. I love it. Turquoise. I hope to change colors as time goes on. I'm looking at maybe a burgundy for the fall and winter, Christmas months, that kind of thing. I don't know how we'll transition from one color to the other, but we'll figure that out. So anyways, here's what I'm all into. All right, other things. On a totally different note, cinnamon whiskey. God, I meant to bring the bottle. I think it's a Jim Beam. I don't even know. My husband brought it home. My two favorite flavors in the whole wide world, dark chocolate, right? Mentioned dark chocolate, and cinnamon. And I'm not a big whiskey drinker. I'm not a big alcohol drinker at all. Wine gives me headaches. I have to watch the sulfites and the tannins and all that kind of thing. Organic wine I can handle. I love a mojito. I love rum drinks. Fruity fun drinks. This whiskey though, holy crap. It's a fireball in a drink. Just a shot, like a nightcap of just a shot at night. Oh my God. cinnamon whiskey, people. Love it. And then on the other side of the spectrum, infused water. Mike found a recipe for infusing water, for fruit infusing water in the Instant Pot. So we got a frozen fruit mixture of strawberries, blackberries, raspberries, that kind of thing. And he infused it, just a little bit of stevia to sweeten it. And I just put like maybe 1/8 of a cup in here and fill the rest up with water. Oh my God, homemade infused water. It's a thing in my world. And last but not least, Westworld. Mike and I like a good series. We binge watch all kinds of different things. Of course, a lot of it is sci-fi because he's a sci-fi geek and he's a sci-fi author. We like everything from Walking Dead to Fringe, Lord of the Rings, all that kind of, the whole realm of fantasy science fiction. Westworld, holy cow. We had watched it last year. We binged watched the first season to get ready for the second season. The second season is not disappointing. Totally different direction they're going. We're just glued to it every Sunday. So if you like that kind of stuff and you haven't checked out Westworld, please do, while we're waiting for, Game of Thrones to come back and waiting for the next Outlander book and the next Outlander season. There are other things to fill in our time. All right, I think that's all for today. I'm almost at an hour, holy crap. And that isn't without the my son doing his dab and the slideshow at the beginning. So I hope you like this. I hope you will subscribe and keep track of me as I do my Stitch Mania stitch-alongs. Yeah, we're going to have fun in the next month. It'll probably be more like the next month and a half for me, but what's not to love? Stitching, knitting, sharing it with you guys. I hope you have a great week ahead. I will see you guys tomorrow, and if I don't see you tomorrow, I will see you on Facebook, I will see you on Instagram, and we will just be having a grand old time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.